any change?
Let's see it.
All
man.
right.
Only had one block.
You guys ready to rock and roll? You ready for the action?
Rock and roll.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the garage. As always, my name is Tyler Werner. With me is Vince Wheatley.
I'm back, bitches.
Oh, that was unnecessary. And Tim Vogler.
Yes, that is me. But I will also go by Reverend now.
Reverend?
Yeah.
Why?
I just got ordained.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Congratulations.
To the power of the Universal Life Church.
Well, peace be upon you.
Yes. Peace be with
we
you.
have finally converted Tim
Yeah.
to our religion.
I was literally just listening to a song by the Steel Drivers called "Praise the Lord, Pass the Weed."
Yeah. That church is not a strictly Christian thing. It's just like it's not even a real church, but you can it's the online thing. You put in your name, and an email address and your regular mailing address, and they verify that you're a real person, and it's like, okay, here you go.
Nope, you're converted. You
There's
have to
really
change
no-
your tax form.
Yeah.
and your voter registration.
Does this mean you don't have to pay taxes anymore?
It should.
Because he's a church now.
Yeah.
He is a reverend.
You can start your own church now, and then you don't have to pay taxes on anything.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the main goal of like the flying spaghetti monster god or whatever back in like 2009?
What?
The Church of the Flying Spaghetti or something like that. Somebody created some like ridiculous religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that to avoid taxes?
No, I think
I know a
it
lot
was
of-
just a parody of.
And a lot of those churches, they do that to prove, like, hey, maybe churches should pay taxes, sort of thing, which I'm not totally against, but
Why? Nobody should pay taxes. That's my point of view. Like, we should all be trying to replicate what they're doing.
we should all fend for ourselves.
Yeah.
What is the what good has the government ever done for anybody? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting way off topic here.
Jesus Christ.
We don't even have a topic. What do you mean?
Welcome into the
What is
garage. If you're joining us on the live stream on YouTube, welcome. If you are a person who has checked out the YouTube streams that's posted after the fact that's not live, bear with us. We are working on technical audio stuff and video. Obviously, none of us here are audio engineers. We're all very low-level IQ when it comes to doing this sort of thing, especially me. So each week is kind of a work in progress. I'm very confident I have the audio fixed. I could be totally wrong. The issue is our audio that comes through our headphones is from our recording of the podcast. The YouTube stream, we got nothing in here, so it's just pretty much we're shooting and going, and whatever pops up after we're done is kind of what pops up. So it's just a week by week, tweaking little things, but I think we're getting closer to getting it. So if you checked out the stream the last couple weeks and you didn't like it, just don't give up on us yet. We're getting there. Okay, so thank you for your patience.
Yeah, not all of us have the high budget of Great East Nebraska Beer 30, but you know.
Yeah, that's true.
The production
We're very
value,
low,
the
we're
production
low budget
values
here.
on that.
But to prevent us being low budget, sign up on patreon.com/garage talk. Help support the show, get some new cameras, get some new gear, maybe hire somebody who actually knows what they're doing in here, and we'll be good to go. Today, big episode, Dune review episode. Before we get into that, though, I just came off of a massive win against the Indianapolis Colts, and I do need to say something. Yeah, me personally. I personally willed us. When Kevin Byard intercepted in overtime, I said, "Get me that ball, Kevin."
B-yard.
I'm not lying. I literally said before the play, I said, "Kevin, get me the ball." And he went and intercepted it. I do want to say, though, Tim, you've been a massive hater of Carson Wentz. You've slandered him multiple times on the podcast, and I just want to say I am all on board. I'm 100% in agreement. I mean, this guy is awful. Here's what he does. He hands the ball off to Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
He throws dump passes. And every other time, it's a lob up into the air hoping to get a pass interference call. And that is it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, Carson Wentz a piece of shit. I am all with you,
Tim.
Tim.
That was their entire strategy against San Francisco, I think.
And Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you called it. Sorry for I guess I never really disagreed with you. I was just curious on what your hatred was, but now I'm fully on board. I completely get it, and I completely agree.
Yeah.
Disgusting
well, I mean,
football.
it's definitely not as bad to watch him this year as it was last couple of years. I think Frank Reich is kind of
but when you're facing him as the Titans were today, and he throws a 40-yard lob pass but it's 10 yards underthrown. So the corners are chasing after the receiver, and the receivers stop and turn around, so our defensive backs run into them. A good pass, dipshit.
Yeah.
Let's play the actual game here.
Was Vic raising his hand just now to say who's losing his job this year?
No, it's called reset the. I get it. Good joke. Okay. So let's dive right into it.
You already got a mirror.
Good Lord, they're gonna take it out.
That's a terrible.
Here's a
Put it
here's
in
a
front
screen.
in front of that camera. I'm just getting some huge glare here. Get it right up in
Dune.
there. Now we're getting the glare from the TV. All right, Dune. This is the Dune review. This is a poster of the hardcover book.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to buy a movie poster, so we're going to stick with that. Dune Part One was released in theaters this past week, and I went and saw it opening night. Vince and Tim went and saw it earlier this week. Very good. Part One. I did buy the book.
Oh man,
Ooh.
I did buy the book.
full out.
Well, because the movie was filmed, and the producers and the studio are absolute idiots, and they wanted the movie to prove itself before they financed a sequel. So, so they literally made a Part One going, well, we better hope this hits so we can get enough money to make a second one. The studio should have given them enough money to film both films back to back. That's a huge oversight, but it was greenlit this week. Dune Part 2 will be released in 2023, as long as there's not another COVID pandemic. So that's exciting news. But I didn't want to wait 2 years for the resolution of the story, so I bought the book, and we'll be starting here shortly.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's the book. This is a movie review, not a book review. That was just kind of my thoughts and opinions. So Dune was made by Denis Villeneuve, who is probably one of my favorite directors in film. Currently, he's done things Arrival, Enemy, Blade Runner 2049, and
You're constantly
Sicario.
On here, so.
Yeah, if you're new to the show, we talk about this fairly often.
You're always double fisting it between him and Christopher Nolan. Yeah.
What if they teamed up and
man.
co-directed a movie?
You might have a heart attack.
It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work because those are two alpha men trying to take charge of the film and the camera. It probably wouldn't work. But if they could find a way,
give them a year to kind of become friends or something, maybe, so that way.
Yeah, I mean, if they start the collaboration process with the writing and they work together and stuff, and who knows, man,
something beautiful.
That would be like probably the greatest movie ever made. It could be a 2 hours of nonsense, and it'd still be the most emotionally impacting thing I've ever seen. That's for damn sure. So yeah, this movie was. They went all in, obviously, like I said, because they only had budget for one film, even though this is a two filmed story.
Yeah.
And I mean, they threw money at all these. I mean, they got Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, David Bautista, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, Javier Bardem. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, this is a star-studded cast.
Yeah.
And I think they all filled out the roles perfectly.
Yeah, they did great. I was really impressed with just the visuals too, the costume design, everything about the film. Like
the sound
was great.
Gave me freaking goosebumps. I'm glad I went to see it in theaters with all the like it made me jump a couple times. Like just the between the score and just the I don't know, just the sound effects and just out to fill out the world,
Yeah, before we go any further, spoilers for the Dune movie and probably the book. I'd say we haven't read the book yet, but I'm assuming what happened. The main parts happen in the movie for the book. So spoiler alert: if you have not seen Dune, go watch it right now, and then come back into this moment.
Yeah,
we'll dive into it. But yeah, this was an epic sci-fi in every sense of the word. I mean, they directing, the acting, the visuals, the cinematography, the music. I mean, Hans Zimmer did the music, and it matched perfectly, kind of for the tone of the film. Let's start at a 10 or should we do 5 stars or 10 stars? What's the normal? I don't know how to rate movies.
It kind of depends on
a while since
which site.
It's been a while since we've done a movie review, so I don't even know what we do.
We do a percentage like on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, we could be
Yeah.
so whatever percentage of the garage decides that it was a pause. So I'd probably say it's 100% garage tomatoes
Yeah.
on this film.
It's definitely a must see. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The
If
best-
you have not seen Dune yet, either on HBO.
Well, if you haven't seen it yet, get off right now.
Yeah, I highly
Yeah.
recommend going to
Yeah.
the movie theater for it. Too.
It's worth it. I watched both. I watched it in theaters and I watched it on my TV here.
Yeah.
Both great experiences, just because I have such a
And-
high quality studio set up here in the garage.
But I think I kind of wish that they had sort of more of a preface before, like kind of like Lord of the Rings kind of.
Tim was very confused.
Oh yeah,
I
the
was
first
too.
the
I
first
will-
30 minutes are just complete and utter confusion.
Yeah, I
if you have
ain't gonna lie, man. I was lost at the very start.
So-
too. I was like,
Oh, really?
I was like, what the fuck?
So-
they're just like saying words, and I'm just like, that's
Yeah.
not a word.
so
That's
I
not-
kind
You
of
don't
wish
know what a Atreides means?
Yeah.
or what's a Benny Gesserit?
What
It's
the
like
fuck is going on?
It's definitely worth a rewatch.
yeah,
Because
Yeah,
by
yeah,
the
yeah.
time you're through the film, you kind of understand
get-
who's
yeah, you
right.
get the grasp
You
of
get
it.
there, but it feels like
It
they.
requires using your noggin.
Did you just call it
Sure.
a Benny Gesserit?
Oh, I don't know what a.
You're
What
a
is it?
Benny. You Benny.
What is it called? Man?
Benna.
Ben. Oh,
Benna Gesserit.
Whatever.
man. Tomato.
I think I
tomato
think
cheese.
I heard it said both ways.
It depends on
but
what
yeah.
part of that galaxy you're
Yeah,
on.
that's
Yeah,
that's
it's a different accent.
that's,
Tyler.
that's my
Jeez.
that's my Arrakis accent
Yeah.
coming.
You say Arrakis like such a southerner. That's my Arrakis. That's my
Arrakis.
Arrakis accent. Yeah, there's a lot. So the best way I was able to describe this movie to people who hadn't quite seen it yet, this is Game of Thrones meets Star Wars meets the Bible. Like if those three books came together and had a child, I guess Star Wars is a film. Whatever.
There's books.
There are books.
There's
So
novelizations to it.
those three stories came together and had a kid. It was
Right.
Dune, and
But-
obviously, I mean, if you probably, if you saw going into this movie, you probably saw some things that were similar to you in the sci-fi genre. But you got to think, Dune was written in 1965. Like this precluded, not the Bible, but it did preclude Star Wars and
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, how much of Dune did you think that
George R. Martin.
George Lucas
Oh, George.
it's kind of borrowed?
He
I would
definitely
say.
he definitely stole the sandworm and put it on an
Yeah.
asteroid.
Right.
So yeah, this is. I mean, it's a classic sci-fi novel, and I thought they. I mean, I'm assuming they interpreted it really well.
Mhm.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
it kind of dives you in. I mean, like you said, it is a little confusing at first because it throws you right into these. It's kind of like family houses, kind of like in Game of Thrones. There's
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
families who control different planets, and they just. Boop, but that's how Game of Thrones does it too. I mean,
Right.
First time you watch the first 3 episodes of season 1 of Game of Thrones, you're just like, who's who,
You-
what's
yeah,
going
you're
on.
Trying
Yeah.
to catch up
Uh,
to what's happening in the actual universe.
And honestly, I think they did a good job of it for being a movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because whereas Game of Thrones had a little bit more time to flesh out
Right.
kind of the story and who's who, what's going on. This is a 2.5-hour movie that had to put you right in the middle of it and let's get it going.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought they did it masterfully because like I feel like I got a good gist of the world that Dune is set in, right? I got a good idea of the different houses and everything like that, the kind of what each house represents, despite only having you only really see 3 houses really
Mhm.
in Dune.
And just like with Game of Thrones and the books, from what I know, is the books go way more in depth on the different houses and kind of the
Yeah.
more political side of things of what's going on.
Right.
But for obviously movie constraints, you can't quite dive into this. Did you guys watch the 1985 film or whatever?
The who did that one?
Was
is
it wasn't Fincher? I don't.
No.
I'm pulling up
Crap,
right now.
it's,
I got you.
He does Blue Velvet and
1985 or 19.
David Lynch.
David Lynch.
Yeah, which is known for Blue Velvet and
1984. Sorry, not.
that one.
Yep, David Lynch.
Yeah, that one show that. Oh, what is that? Anyways, whatever. I don't know why I can't think of it.
So
right
was that? So have you guys seen that movie?
now. No,
I heard it was awful.
That's yeah.
Did you?
I've,
So you,
I've seen clips of it because everybody's obviously comparing the two. And
so
stuff.
obviously I think we all kind of just went into this movie blind.
Yeah.
Like I saw the trailer, but I didn't know anything about the story or anything
yeah,
like that.
same.
And I think that's.
I knew there was a sandworm.
I
did
knew,
know
we
that.
Yeah.
did know that the worm's pretty popular. But I mean, if you listen to all like the big movie podcasts and the big movie reviewers before it actually came out, they talked about, this is an epic sci-fi. It's beautiful. It has all this stuff, but I don't think any of them kind of talked about how awesome the story was.
Yeah.
And the characters and the things that they were, the political kind of conflict that they were going through.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that wasn't set up front. Maybe it was to kind of try to, withhold spoilers or anything. But that was probably my favorite part of the movie. I mean, Duke Atreides, he's Ned Stark.
Right. Yes.
Like they make you love him. They make you love him right off the. And Oscar Isaac is one of my favorite performers ever.
He's phenomenal.
And he just exudes charm and sexiness and badassery. I mean, he's everything I wanted in a Duke Leto. I'm probably pronouncing all these names. Atreides. He's exactly what I wanted. And when I saw him sneaking around the house at night, I got a real bad feeling.
Oh,
I was like, oh no, don't do this to me.
Yeah.
I just fell in love with this guy. And then the guy shoots him in the back.
I just started to comprehend what's happening, and I like this guy.
And now you're taking him from me. Don't do this. Damn you,
what,
Frank Herbert.
What good are those shields, anyways? That's what I want to know.
I think it's good for. It probably explains in the book, but
it's similar to like chainmail and plate armor, right? I mean,
Right.
Yeah, so
it works. It works.
It defends you from blunt force trauma, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the slower something went, the easier it was to penetrate the shields.
I see.
So obviously there was him, Jason Momoa and Josh Brolin. Those guys were badass.
Yeah, they were.
They were awesome.
Yeah, Josh Brolin really brought his Thanos voice to the party here. It was like it really seemed like he was just, I don't know. Like I loved his performance, but it's just like
I like Josh Brolin a lot.
No, I do. I'm just saying like his
gruffness.
the gruff voice and everything. That him and Stellan Skarsgård, I could listen to like talk all day.
They should do a podcast together in their Dune character voices.
Yeah, well, Stellan Skarsgård is like that voice for that character was just. I mean that's
the Harkin.
Absolutely perfect.
What was his name? Fat Harkin or something?
Baron.
The Baron. That's
yeah,
right.
Baron.
Harkonnen.
Yeah.
Harkonnen.
Stellan Skarsgård's voice sounds like a didgeridoo being ground up in like a garbage disposal, but it's like
I don't know what that means.
It's like
I really liked the Baron's like character. Like
he's ruthless. They made him.
It's
he's
ruthless
evil.
and like you're kind of not scared of him at first, right? But then all of a sudden he starts floating and shit, and you're just like,
what the fuck?
And like that whatever implant he has on his spine starts glowing and then starts floating
and then David Bautista bows to him.
Yeah.
Like
I hope Bautista's character, the whatever beast or whatever, I hope he gets
a little bit more in part two.
More in part two. Like he was great, don't get me wrong, but it was just kind of pretty straightforward.
He didn't have a huge role in this. I mean, obviously, David Bautista is kind of a selling point when it comes to marketing.
Right.
So that was kind of a surprise. But, I guess we don't know the story. So I'm assuming he's going to have a big part, too.
Yeah.
But, is Josh Brolin dead?
What?
They didn't show it.
Oh, yeah. I think his character's gone.
Well,
they alluded.
It's like one of those Game of Thrones things. Like, we didn't see him die.
Yeah,
we didn't see him die.
So
we don't know.
There's a possibility.
Well, I thought he got.
No, he went charging into the fight, and then we never saw it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess maybe. But
and then it's assuming they like wiped out.
They wiped
House
out
Atreides.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
I'm assuming so, but
We also didn't see Duncan die. So Jason Momoa.
No, we definitely saw him die.
We didn't see him die.
He got stabbed like 50 times, dude. We know he's dead. He's badass. I don't think he survived that though. We're jumping way ahead.
Yeah, right.
I do like the first encounter they had with the worm. Obviously, House Atreides, they're out there kind of scouting out, learning how they're collecting spice, kind of
Spice Malone.
Yeah, learning how the world works and whatnot. And that worm comes. There's a malfunction with the evacuation crew. That was one of the most suspenseful scenes I've seen in a movie a long
that was
time.
Very intense,
The action in this is just like.
Well, how nonchalant they were at first, right? Like, or before the everything kind of went to shit.
Yeah,
like,
they're
they
like,
were
it's fine. We're just gonna drop in, grab it, get
yeah,
out,
they're
let
like,
the worm
oh,
go
there's
by.
a sandworm. Okay, we'll send out our spotter crew or whatever. They'll
The
watch
hot
it.
air balloon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, no, the little tiny pod ship thing that like watches it as
Uh-huh.
it goes
Mhm.
and kind of gives them like an ETA of like, oh, okay, let's get it all out and stuff. And
Yep, the worm's gonna be there in 2 minutes.
Yep, and they're like, okay, cool, and then all of a sudden, like thing shows up, and they're like, all right, yeah, 2 minutes out, and they're like, all right, cool, perfect, and then all of it just goes to shit, and they're like,
And then that's
Yeah,
what kind of when the music starts picking
Yeah.
up, and then you're just like on the edge of your seat, like, oh.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then
Just
and then
gripping.
he starts having why am I blanking on Timothy Chalamet's character?
Paul.
Paul, yeah. So Paul starts having his hallucinations, and you're like,
Spice.
God, get
The-
out! And Josh Brolin goes out and saves him. It's just like, oh man, that was intense fun. I think probably the biggest comparison that I've seen of that recently was probably in Interstellar
Mm-hmm.
when they're on the ocean planet with the big wave that's coming. You guys know the scene I'm talking about?
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's all the docking sequence. A movie hasn't been this intense for me since Interstellar. Is pretty much what I'm saying.
No, this movie and like we said before, the music just set it all off. All the audio in this film is
Hans Zimmer is
top
a
notch.
master. I mean, he's
Yeah.
up there with John Williams, I think,
Mhm.
in movie scores.
Yeah,
So good. And this one, I don't, because he did Interstellar too, and I think Interstellar is a better soundtrack. But this one was just it was so perfect for the film.
yeah.
I think
It just matched
Absolute
every
kudos.
situation, felt like perfectly. Yeah.
Let's talk about Paul though a little bit because he's literally the main character. We haven't
Yeah.
talked-
Yeah.
Can we also just quick little side note how silly it is? Like they have all these kind of crazy names, and then it's Paul. And
Yeah,
Jessica.
I was gonna
Paul
bring
and
that up too.
Jessica.
Look,
Yeah.
it was
Like-
the '60s, dude.
Right.
Okay.
But it's just I don't know.
Like
It's just so
all
funny.
these crazy names for the houses and like the titles like God Emperor this or that,
Yeah.
and then you have Paul.
It's
Paul and his
It's
mom
Paul.
Jessica.
They have Paul and his mom Jessica.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at the other names here, and they're all, I guess what you consider foreign.
Yeah, or just sci-fi sounding.
I guess Dr. Yu, the guy who betrayed him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess his first name's Wellington.
Is it?
Yeah,
Whittington. Hmm.
Dr. Wellington Yu. I did this for my family. The Harkonnens have them.
Yeah. How did that go for you, you piece of shit?
Yeah, that guy's like.
Bastard.
Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
my gosh, dude. Okay, so when Oscar Isaac had the fake tooth with the poison, that crunching sound was the worst thing I've ever heard. Like the next morning, I was at work and that sound replayed in my head, and I'm like, "Oh my
This
teeth,
cringing.
my teeth,
Yeah.
oh, it hurts." Which is another kudos to the
Yeah.
the audio in this film.
Yeah.
And and then like just the fat piece of shit Baron, like just like all up on the ceiling afterwards. Hey, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I loved it, man. I think it. Yeah, I don't know. It was great. Anyways, Paul. We're talking
Paul,
about Paul now.
So yeah, they drop us in right at the beginning with Paul. They introduce us to the voice, the magical power that he has right away.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
Yeah, the fantasy aspect of this like story of this world
It's-
is really interesting.
Yeah,
and
it is
I love that they didn't explain anything of it too.
Yeah.
It's just all up to just kind of interpretation. You know, it's just very like a lot of mysticism.
Yep, it's the Bene Gesserit, and this is what they
Yeah.
do. This is their magical power.
It's like why? I don't know. It's great.
'Cause
Yeah,
it's
that-
awesome. That's why.
Yeah.
That's another kind of a gripping scene with when he puts his hand in the box. So that's like just kind of like, what
Oh,
the fuck's
yeah.
going on? Like,
See,
'cause that lady is scary.
Yeah. That was I've read the first 5 pages of the book. That's the first 5 pages of the book. So the book
Mhm.
opens up with that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
cool.
So it's pretty intense. But yeah, the voice is a really cool power. I thought I'm just gonna continuously butcher this. Timothy Chalamet. I don't know how to say it, but
Like- Chalamet.
Chalamet. Yeah, but maybe that's what. Maybe not have a weird last name. Maybe don't be French.
And
Yeah.
And I'll pronounce your name properly.
and spelling Timothy with 2 E's. Come on, man.
You should try that, Tim.
Nah.
You can be a little more
And
exotic.
it's not even just 2 E's.
The-
There's a accent mark over the first E.
Tim, you
Mm.
should have done that. Your acting career would have taken off if you would have spelled your name that way.
Yeah, that's
Telling
all.
ya.
That's all I needed.
But I thought he did a great job in the performance. The relationship between him and what's her name, Rebecca Ferguson, as his mom, was really intense. I got some very like heavy Jesus vibes from him. Like later. No, I'm serious. Like later on in the film when they fly into the dust storm or whatever, and like he's doing this crazy stuff and he's like letting it go, and his mom looks at him like, oh shit, he might actually be the one.
Yeah.
Like my son might actually be the Messiah.
Yeah.
So I got those vibes there, but he did a good job. Their chemistry was really good, and I that's probably I think, despite everything we talk about with it being an epic sci-fi with great visuals and great audio and a cool story, I think kind of their mother and son relationship was really the driving force in the film, and the chemistry between the actors really propelled the story forward and actually gave us kind of an emotional investment into the story. I think they were the perfect kind of translation between the audience and the film.
Yeah, and it's even between Oscar Isaac and Timothy too. I thought even their like the father-son sort of connection was superb. Just because, and again, it made you fall in love with Oscar Isaac's character like so much because he's just like, oh, you just do it. He's like, if you don't want to lead, I understand, but try it first.
Yeah,
sort of thing. And
yeah, he had some great quotes. They came out swinging with some sweet quotes about leadership and leading your house and whatnot. And but that was part of Oscar Isaac's charm that he brought, is he really sold that. And I don't know if there was a bad actor in this movie.
Really, yeah.
Everybody was on the point. Even what's his name? The weird creepy dude who's in all of his other films. David Dastmalchian. We've talked about him before. He's in like The Dark Knight, and he plays in Blade Runner 2049 and Prisoners.
Oh yeah. Okay, yep.
Yeah, he's the weird creepy guy who's in like all the movies.
Plays the Polka Dot Man too.
Yeah, he's the Polka Dot Man.
He was
Suicide Squad. Yeah. So yeah, like I'm pretty sure like was that a role in the book? I feel like that role was just like, hey, we have this actor that I like working with. Let's put him in the film.
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, even he was good. I mean, he got the blunt trauma of the poison.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was just an awesome movie overall. Do you guys have any gripes with it? Anything you didn't like?
I mean, I already said my one gripe, but I think
Just
it would have been. I think they could have done more of a preface on it, just so that first 30 minutes.
They gave you like a couple lines right at the beginning.
Yeah, that's.
What do you want, Tim?
I mean, just an overall. Like, this I don't know. I don't know how they would have done it, but it's probably fine the way it is. It's just if you don't want to be confused the first 30 minutes, maybe watch a YouTube video on Dune.
But be careful. You don't. Well, I guess if
No.
you're watching this, you're already spoiled.
Watch the film first.
Yeah.
Figure it out, because by the time you get to the end of the movie,
you understand what's
going
going
on.
on.
You have a general idea of what's going on. Then go watch a YouTube video.
No, don't even do it. Just go back and rewatch it.
It was. I mean, after watching it, or after watching the movie, then watching stuff on what Dune is about, and like how apparently much time elapses in this whole series is kind of crazy, and just to know the backstory of like what spice is, and like that was kind of interesting, like because apparently, I mean, everybody that's on Arrakis is like addicted to the spice because it's everywhere. It's like in everything, so you can't.
That shit's good.
Once you're there, it will only
get a lighter to the mic, Tim.
I don't have it with me. Anyways, you don't smoke it. I think you just like inhale it.
But we can't smoke the spice.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh yeah, we like that spice. Get your eyes all blue and glowy and shit.
So yeah, apparently, once you start spice, you can't stop, or that'll kill you. It's the only it's the drug.
Cool.
That,
Yeah. See, I didn't know that. That's
yeah.
Sorry.
We're
gonna dive deep.
Right.
Right into that.
So yeah, it's the only drug that will kill you if you stop taking it or something. I don't know.
That's my kind of drug.
Yeah.
I can't quit, babe. I'll die.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can go through withdrawals with heroin.
Yeah.
Is spice a metaphor for heroin?
It might
We don't
be.
know. We'll have to read the books first.
Spice is another.
It's probably a metaphor for
Another-
weed. It's probably a metaphor for weed. This was written in the 60s.
Well, it allows space travel, so I'm thinking
Yeah.
it must be some sort of fucking
yeah, another
crazy thing.
Actually, I think spice is the term for DMT as well.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Are we the
I'd
Joe
have to
Rogan
look.
podcast
Yeah,
now?
Yeah.
ask Joe Rogan.
I would love to hear Joe Rogan's
Wow,
review of
the
Dune.
Bengals.
Yeah, how the
Sorry.
stop. We're gonna get it's the Dune review. Yeah, I honestly, I was trying to think about this before we recorded because I absolutely love this movie, and I don't know if there's been a better movie that's come out in the last couple of years. Obviously, through 2020, COVID, and all that shit, we missed out on a lot of films, but even going back to like 2018, man, this is one of the coolest movies I've seen.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm biased because it didn't matter what.
Well-
It's the Star Wars effect. It's Denny Villeneuve. Anything he does, I'm gonna love it no matter what.
Well, there's definitely a kind of a shortage of nerd movies now. You know, it's like, the Avengers kind of wrapped up. There isn't that to look forward to anymore. Star Wars is, I mean, where they go from there anymore, and at least with the original story, and Lord of the Rings has already been done, so it's like this is the so like Dune, like being able, because it is a lot. I think what I've heard about the book, it is very confusing, or it gets even more confusing in the later books too, is what people are saying, and probably kind of hard to pick and choose what you can actually film and make sense out of it, and do all that in this series. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and kind of to your point there too is sci-fi is such a, and even to an extent, sci-fi fantasy, the genre is so cool because it creates these huge, massive worlds and environments that are completely foreign, with all this magic and the voice and spice and stuff like that is completely foreign. It's just really these kind of cool concepts. But when you dive deep into for a lot of the classic and really good sci-fi and fantasies, there are stories about the human experience. So you get these snapshots and these glimpses of what it means to be human, transported in these foreign worlds, and I think it's a really powerful thing. And I think it's cool that a movie like Dune, which is a very epic, what's sort of not highbrow, but it's like high fantasy, high sci-fi kind of.
It's a science fictionist of the science fiction.
Yeah, and it's cool that's
Well, and it's one of the
reaching a wide audience, at least wide enough to be able to get enough money to make a sequel. I think it's awesome.
And it's also one of the few like sci-fi settings that's so far into the future too.
Yeah.
Like
what's the year, like 1120?
Well, and
or
the
something?
but the period of time they use is kind of weird as well.
It's
like
weird. But there's very few other like Star Wars is technically a long time ago, but it's in a different galaxy, right? And then you have like Star Trek. That's only in the year like, was it 4,000 or something like that? It's only a couple thousand years.
Not too far.
Yeah. I mean, it's a long time, but
Yeah.
But if you think about it, that's the same amount of time that it was from like ancient kind of Greek and it's been even longer than that since like ancient Greece and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's very few like sci-fi stuff that's set so far into the future like this, where you can kind of get kind of crazy with it. Because we don't know what the fuck's gonna happen the year 10,000 or stuff like that, right? And the only thing I can think of is like, you guys are gonna roll your eyes at me, but like Warhammer set in the year 40,000.
Yeah, but doing that though, it kind of creates it almost moves from being science fiction to fantasy almost.
Right? Yeah. Because
Or it's called sci-fi because there's space and there's space travel and stuff. But honestly, really, in an era that's so far out, that's virtually fantasy at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I guess is why usually sci-fi and fantasy are kind of classified together. But
right.
Yeah. That's one of the critiques somebody came up with, is like, okay, so they're in the future, space travel and everything, have these weird these shield things that they can turn on and off whenever that they wear on their hand. But they're fighting with swords, like metal swords.
Well, I think because guns can't penetrate the shields, right? Because they use like
they got the dart.
They use artillery and stuff from ships to blow up shit on artillery strikes.
The artillery was like slower too. so
until
that
it
it can
But
penetrate
the
that
only
shield.
reason why it
Yeah.
got through, though, I think, is because what the doctor betrayed them,
Right,
so he
exactly.
Yeah,
lowered
he-
the shields, and that's
yeah.
why they were able to get through.
Mhm.
Gosh, that guy's a prick.
It's kind of the worst.
Dr. Yu, like, I get it, they have your family, but you should know we know as an audience the Harkonnens are evil.
Yeah,
You should know he's.
You know. Should have read the book.
Yeah, you should have read the book, bud. He already killed your family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like-
it was a setup from the beginning. Setup.
And I'm interested in part 2 and for reading the book to dive deep into whoever the fuck this Emperor guy is.
Right. It's
And
really
thinks that he can
fascinating.
set up House Atreides. Like, this guy's on my shit list. I'm ready to fight this guy now, too. Him and Harkonnen.
It's Palpatine still.
He's somehow still not dead.
Yeah. Sorry, we keep bringing in other stuff. No, but yeah, I love the way they talk about how the Emperor's kind of like lost control of the houses too. The way he's kind of talked about that, but then he's like he's still got some puppet strings out there by setting up Atreides and stuff like that. It's so there just seems like there's so much to it, and which I love.
Which is obviously why we had to do a 2-parter for. I mean,
Right? Yeah.
there
there
was
was
This
no
is
way.
like just a tiny little sliver on the whole timeline that Frank Herbert's written about in this
Oh,
whole
I mean,
thing.
there's
Like,
lots
it's-
of books.
It's just like
Lots of books.
because I watched the video on it and like doing a timeline just like to
Well,
get a
did
little
you
more
spoil
under.
anything for yourself?
Oh, I don't remember half of it because it was all nonsense and just names and words and like. But it gets just absolutely insane. Like so, this whatever person takes over and this and that, and it's like it just gets crazier and crazier. So I don't know how many films they're gonna make out of it. I mean,
Well,
they'll
as of-
definitely do 2.
yeah, as of now-
but I think he's already talking about third one getting into the second book.
But
or
nobody
something like that,
talks
but-
about Dune Messiah, the sequel book. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I guess it depends where they go with the story, and because I think they can probably wrap up the book pretty well within the 2 films.
Yeah,
I hope so, anyway.
because I don't
also
think
haven't read the book, so you don't know.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
because I don't know if the next one is Paul or if it goes to a different thing or
Better be
if
Paul.
it
The
wrap-
way they
if
left
it
that
wraps
the
up.
end of that movie. We better see more Paul. Like I'm
Well,
I'm actually the way they ended this. Like that was I think one of the critiques that I've heard on the
Yeah.
internet at least a little bit is like, well, it just kind of ended, and we don't, it's kind of dumb or whatever. I don't-
yeah,
I'm-
that's just the first
different
half of that
read. Yeah.
that book.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I am so intrigued to find out Paul's kind of how he gets into this new kind of culture and establishes himself as the leader and I guess the Messiah or the chosen one
Yeah.
that he was meant to be. Because obviously, we didn't touch on, but the voice, his mom and the Bette Deseret lady were saying like males aren't supposed to be able to do this. This is like
Yeah.
a lady only thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he has the power. So I'm really, really interested to see how he kind of influences this new culture, and kind of becomes a leader of the people, so to
The
speak.
Fremen, yeah.
The Fremen.
The Fremen, who they really make me like the Fremen because I think like I don't want to get too sexist here, but I think Zendaya might be the most attractive human being on earth. So that I guess that makes
She's
me
adorable.
feel a little more sympathetic to the Fremen
Mhm.
for sure.
If they're pretty.
Well, she is, so
Yeah,
that
a
gives
lot of
me,
people.
that gives me an attachment to the culture.
Yeah, a lot of people were disappointed that she was such a small role in this, but there's a whole
Yeah.
second movie.
Yeah,
I think
there's a
she'll
second movie.
definitely
She'll be more- and I
she'll be
think
more of a
obviously
feature in that, I'm sure.
They had, like I said, they had to make money for this, so they had to
Yeah.
market this film huge in order to get enough money for the second one. So they really had to push her face. I mean, she's especially after being in Spider-Man and stuff, she's a pretty
Mhm.
popular actress. So they really had to push her. But yeah, I think she'll play an important role. Obviously, she is in all of Paul's visions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she'll probably play a big part in part 2.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. Like I want them to fall in love and have babies and stuff. So I'm all for this.
Nice.
Well, she's gonna betray him.
We don't know.
We keep seeing the visions.
I know, but
man.
his
all of
vision-
his visions have come true.
But his
Uh-oh.
visions are really weird
yeah,
because
they're
like
very
they
weird,
but
they
they
all
come
true.
parts of them come true.
Right.
Like they're not like
They all have the
100%
same
accurate.
ending, but they all have the same ending, just different like means to an end.
Is Zendaya Judas?
I don't know.
Oh, that's another thing I loved about this film. But we
It's
didn't.
like a mix of Mary Magdalene and Judas. Oh,
Oh man. But that's gonna be exciting to watch. We didn't talk about that very much. I guess not the flashbacks, but the visions.
Mhm.
Those are always cool. I'm all for seeing the future or the past or whatever, and things being metaphorical, but things being interpreted certain ways. We're definitely, because all the visions mainly I feel like were predominant for part 2. I mean, we saw a few things that kind of we saw play out in part 1, but it wasn't exactly what he saw in the visions.
Yeah.
So I'm really
Like kind of with the Duncan dying, we think.
yeah. I think there's going to be a lot in part 2 that's like there's going to be a lot of once we see part 2 and come back to part 1, we're going to see the massive foreshadowing and like, oh, I see what happened there. Like that makes sense. So
Yeah, this has me just like so excited for part 2. Like it can't come fast enough, but I also want them to make sure to take their time and, and get it right.
That's why I bought the book. I'm just gonna read the book.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I did. Like
So-
I watched season 1 of Game of Thrones, and I was like, I'm into this, and then I just read so many of the books.
Then you got burned.
Yeah.
Luckily,
So are
luckily
you-
he's dead and the series is done.
Yeah.
So
right.
so you gonna stop reading once you get to the end of where the movie covered, so you don't spoil the rest of it?
So I'll
or
read Dune 1, and I depending on how it ends. I mean, if it's like the best book I've ever read, then I'll buy Dune Messiah.
well, I mean,
I don't
this
know.
this
There's
no,
no
I'm
plan
no, I'm
to.
talking about this movie only covers half of that book. So once you get to the point where
Oh no, I'm reading part 2.
okay,
I'm reading through this whole thing.
okay,
That's why
I
I
wasn't
bought it.
sure if you were so into going into the movie cold
No.
you didn't want to.
Okay, so that was I've talked about this kind of before. That was my initial. I respect Denis Villeneuve as a film
Yeah.
director and as an artist,
Respect.
and I respect him. That I wanted.
You more than respect him.
What?
You more than respect him.
Okay, I'm
You
gay
worship
for him. Whatever.
You
Whatever.
worship him.
I didn't want to read this because I wanted to see his interpretation because he's done such a phenomenal job in affecting me emotionally with his films that I wanted to have that experience first, which he did a great job of. But I don't want to wait for it. The story has
Yeah.
me wrapped in. I don't want to wait 2 years to find out what happened. So I bought the book.
He might have set you up for failure though in reading that book because like you like Villanueva's films, right? You like the way he tells stories, so that isn't gonna always. His interpretation of it is not gonna always coincide with your interpretation of it.
yeah.
No, and that's true.
'Cause you're gonna like his obviously more than you
I will
yours.
like it, but I think the story, and the house politics and the magic part of it, I think that was compelling enough
Mm-hmm.
for me to enjoy the book. I'm very open-minded when it comes to book movie kind of adaptations.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not
I'm
a
sure.
big, I guess, nerd on that, but
Yeah. No, I'm sure there's a lot of nerds that saw that movie and like, oh, I can't believe they left out.
you definitely saw that in some of the movie reviews. on, like,
Juju,
Reddit and Twitter and
whatever
stuff.
name or whatever. I don't know what do you call it, but yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of that. But yeah,
There you go. I'm just gonna start reading.
it's
it.
such a good movie.
This episode is gonna turn into a
Wait, should we do a book club?
a 10.5 hour audiobook.
Should we do a book club now
Sure.
on Dune?
yeah.
And the week before the departure to
he's actually
Arrakis, when all the final scurrying about had reached a nearly unbearable frenzy, an old crone came to visit the mother of the boy Paul. This is the
This is literally
Bene Gesserit.
it's written like it's the fucking Bible.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It was a warm night at Castle Kaladin,
Okay,
and
maybe
the
a little
ancient
bit more
pile of
descriptive.
stone that had served the Atreides family as home for 26 generations bore that cooled sweat feeling it acquired before a change in weather. Nice. I'm digging. I'm reading this all tonight. What is it? 800 pages?
Yeah.
700.
You got it.
So yeah, you guys have any final thoughts on Dune?
No, I can't give it enough praise. It really was a phenomenal.
I was so
Movie.
so Vince and Tim went and saw it this week after I'd already seen it, and so I texted them what their response. I was like, "What'd you guys think of the movie?" And how'd you put it?
Oh, I said it was extremely above average.
Oh, I thought that was Vince.
No,
That was you?
Yeah.
At first I was like, I took it as an insult. I was like, above average. And I was like, oh, extremely above average. Like, okay, that's
Yeah.
yep, I get it.
I
So
didn't
good.
really know how else to put it because it's like I don't know. I don't. Yeah,
It's
I
hard to
really don't.
compare.
I don't really
It's its
don't
own
have.
thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's such an experience in of itself. You don't even know how to compare it to anything else. Is it the best
Yeah.
movie you've ever seen?
I don't know about
No.
that. No,
No.
It's definitely the best movie I've seen this year.
I mean,
maybe.
you guys know how.
Recent.
Well, I don't know.
You guys know how reactionary I am.
Yeah.
So this might be the greatest film ever made, hands down. Like not even a competition.
Not even
I-
a competition.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
Nothing comes close.
I guess in that genre movie, I guess it would be the best movie that I've seen this year. The most entertaining movie I've seen this year has been Suicide Squad, but I mean,
Oh,
that's
this is on another level than Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
Suicide
just
Squad
talking
differs on
about
reasons.
entertaining.
Yeah.
This was entertaining in that it was mind blowing.
Yeah,
I guess,
it was
but
it was entertaining, but it was also like high. It was high art.
Engaging.
Yeah.
It's engaging.
Yes.
Right? It's requiring you to think about what's happening in the movie,
Yeah.
as opposed to Suicide Squad, where it's like it's just there to make
It's
you
word.
laugh.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
word vomit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's there to make you laugh. You know, you're obviously gonna have some like
I didn't
emotional
mean
connections,
to compare the two. I was just saying
Yeah,
that just
easy.
as far. There's no comparing
But
the
I think,
two, but I'm
no,
just
Sam,
saying.
I think you're on something there because I think that's what this movie did such a good job on. It did such a great job of making people like me who are like pretentious and think that I know more about arts and film and
Yeah.
storytelling than anybody else.
Yeah.
It makes me look at it and go, oh, that's beautiful and wonderful. But then it also, goes to the lower common denominator like you. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. But it's entertaining to somebody who's not necessarily in it for the, I guess the metaphor, not even metaphorical, but the undertones and kind of just the pretentious storytelling that I'm a part of. It's
Right.
entertaining for somebody who just wants to go see an action, intense drama sci-fi film.
Yeah, no, just to even if you didn't understand anything that was going on, just
You still
the
liked it.
the visual is just enough to make you go wow. I mean, that's as far as it. Yeah.
I'd eat Meg the Stallion's
fighting.
ass, dude.
What?
Meg the Stallion. She was on a commercial.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know who Meg the Stallion is?
No.
She made WAP.
She does
Wet
that.
ass pussy. Gonna need a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy.
Only this podcast could turn a Dune movie review into what we just had to witness there.
We're getting horny over Megan the Stallion. Yeah.
She's hot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you watch Broncos games anymore. Serious movie reviews. All right.
We've said everything that we need to say
That's
about
what
Dune.
Yeah,
You got, you got anything
Go
else to
see
say?
it. Make sure you go see it in theaters.
Yeah.
And you can watch it again at home or whatever.
Name one
Or
better-
watch it again in theaters.
Name
honestly.
one
All right.
better movie than Dune.
I really like The Dark Knight, man.
That's true. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Two
really
All right.
very separate films.
And if you watch it at home, don't even bother if you don't have a decent sound setup. If you're just watching it
Yeah.
or listening to everything through your TV speakers,
This movie
you
is-
are not going to
This-
have a good
This
time.
movie
You
is
have-
worth the $10 or $15 admission. Just pay for the
Yes.
ticket and go watch it.
Right.
Tim, do you have like surround sound system or something?
I mean, I have a sound bar and
Oh, okay.
subwoofers, and that's just enough to
Yeah, that's
to
enough.
it's enough.
It's to
But
brush the surface, but you want
you
it-
need to feel
a
kinda-
full
it-
experience.
yes.
Yeah, depending on what time, like I get off work on Tuesday, I might
go
do
again.
another $5 movie night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I tried to watch it again this morning, but I was too hungover to stay awake, and it didn't work out very well. But I was enjoying it immensely the second time around until I fell asleep from.
And speaking of movies, would you guys, Black Widow, probably one of the worst Avenger films.
I didn't even bother watching it.
Yeah, I watched it this week, and I was like,
it's not as
it
bad
just
as Ant-Man, right?
it's just her, just Black Widow getting thrown around like a rag doll for
Which I'm into.
2 hours, and it's just
What?
Yeah, I have zero interest in seeing it. I don't give a
it's yeah, it's not great.
I did see this like one meme. I think it was a TikTok. It's like when the Hulk's your roommate and Black Widow's over, and you just hear this like doosh doosh, and you're just like and so it's like the guy is like putting on his headphones. Thought that was kind of funny. Anywho, Dune review, yeah.
Yep, that's it for the Dune
Yeah,
review. Thanks for
great.
watching. Also, happy Halloween! It's Halloween.
Yay!
I dressed up as Kevin Byard, the greatest defensive player in the league right now. So
I'm dressed up as a fucking clown.
Peyton
So-
Manning.
No, just Broncos fan.
That's what I said yesterday when I had all my Husker stuff on.
Right.
It's like, sad Husker fan? No, fucking clown.
and shout out to the boy Will Compton, because like he had that on his Twitter. Was him?
Oh,
like,
of Joaquin Phoenix's
like,
Joker
but he
makeup
got the
with an
N
N on
his-
his cheek.
saying they're the best 3
3
win
and 7 team
Yeah.
or whatever the country. All right, that's it, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We love you. Appreciate you. Goodbye.
Bye.